Today I wanted to look at a really creative Miles Davis phrase from a solo he played on Oleo with John Coltrane. This is a very famous solo of his, and he introduces a really great chromatic concept, which is comprised of whole steps descending by half steps. This is a very creative and melodic free concept that you can introduce anywhere over any chord. If you listen for this idea, you'll see that Miles uses it quite a bit throughout the 60s and 70s. I've also heard other great players play it, like Herbie Hancock, and a lot of modern musicians from my generation. Let's listen to how Miles played it originally from this Oleo solo. The whole steps descending by half steps happen starting on beat 3 and bar 4 of this short transcription. For example, if we move C and B flat, which is a whole step, down by a half step, we get B and A. There's several different ways to play whole steps descending by half steps. We could play or. So any of those melodic patterns could be variations of this Miles Davis concept. We could also mix up the melodic pattern as we descend by half step. There's a multitude of variations that would still be embracing this basic concept that I transcribed from Miles Davis. Now let's listen to the idea slowed down so we can really hear those whole steps descending by half steps. One thing I really like about this chromatic idea is that you can introduce it and play it anywhere over any chord progression. This is another free concept similar to the Charlie Parker idea that we looked at in the last lesson. One simple way to practice this is to introduce one of the variations of the whole steps, descending by half step, just intermittently throughout a solo. You can start on any note and descend for as long or as short a period of time as you'd like. The way I've been practicing introducing this into my playing is by playing one melodic idea over a progression followed by one chromatic passage based on this concept. Another thing that's interesting is that instead of using whole steps descending by half steps, you can use any other interval descending by half steps. Minor thirds, for example, descending by half steps sound really good. Could also play it like this. Or like this. Basically, any interval descending by half steps will work. Fourths. Tritones. Experiment with different intervals descending by half steps and find several that you like. Then just practice implementing them into solos. Obviously, you can't do this for your entire solo, but you can absolutely use it several times and might be surprising and interesting to yourself, the band, and the audience. As we all know, rhythm changes can feel very restrictive due to the fact that at this point in history, there's often a lot of chords that have evolved past the original set of changes. What I love about transcribing Miles is that he plays in a very diatonic fashion, which still sounds super sophisticated and interesting to the ear. He introduces a lot of blues ideas, and in this case, a really interesting chromatic idea. I think by approaching rhythm changes and other progressions in the way that Miles Davis did, it can help make playing hard progressions much easier. Thinking more diatonically, using blues ideas, diatonic language, and chromatic ideas, without being restricted by the vertical aspects of the chord progression. It's fun to outline every single chord as it happens, but oftentimes feeling free over these progressions is more about playing diatonically and creatively from the key center and not only adhering to the chord of the moment. You can visit mattotto.org for a free PDF of this exercise. I've written out 8 different variations of the concept using whole steps descending by half steps. Since this is a chromatic idea, the PDF will be relevant for any instrument. This is Matt Otto. I'm a tenured professor at Kansas University. Thanks for listening. Please leave a comment, and I'll see you on the next one.